Traditional gardening methods such as tilling had produced well for us over the years. However, we were still looking for something better. A way to grow food without dealing with the abundance of weeds, the pressure of pests, and the challenge of water during the drier months of the summer. All of these ponderings led us to attempt the Back to Eden garden method. We had several years of successful gardening behind us using traditional methods and even some more advanced methods. But the thought of burying the garden in 6 inches of wood chips was a little intimidating. However, much as we have done with anything else, we jumped feet first, prepped the garden area by scalping the Bermuda grass and weeds that were there at the time, and placing cardboard down before piling on the wood chips. It was May of that year, and we were a little behind on the growing season for our region. Nonetheless, after a few loads of wood chips and a couple of days spreading it out, my husband looked at me and asked, "What have we done?" There were certainly a lot of green leaves in the chips from the freshly removed limbs, and it did not quite look like the perfect Back to Eden garden you see in pictures. After a few days, all the green had dissipated. The garden area began to reflect the images we had seen others share of their Back to Eden gardens. Next, we got busy planting. When planting, we had to remove the wood chips out of the way to still dig a hole for the seed or seedling we were installing, leaving the seedling or seed area uncovered until the plant was tall enough to be above the wood chips. We also decided to treat the garden as a food forest as well, and as we stated in previous videos, we planted very randomly. No longer confined to the idea of planting in rows, we placed tomatoes all over, peppers in different locations. The cucumbers, however, stayed on a single trellis that year. We also implemented a Three Sisters garden consisting of corn, pole beans, and squash. In theory, this looked nice, but in practice, we were not too pleased with the results. The pickle worms feasted on the squash. The plants were so thick we couldn't get to the grasshoppers to get them out either. And harvesting from the plants in that jumbled mess was challenging. Aesthetically, the garden area was an Eden to be in. However, production that first year did not measure up to our expectations. The plants grew, but yields were low on many of them. We still had pest pressure from cutworms, tomato hornworms, and bean beetles, although the bean beetles preferred the neighboring red amaranth over our bush beans, so we had a decent harvest of beans that year. Watering was not an issue, as the wood chips held the moisture into the soil really well. The chips also made what little weeding we had to do very easy. Even the Bermuda grass did not have much to latch onto with its roots and was easily removed. Hindsight, we believe if we had put the wood chips down and left them for a year before planting, the yields may have been higher by allowing some decomposition to take place. There was also the fact that we had used the same area for gardening 6 years in a row at this point, and depletion of nutrients may have played a part. The following year, we let the land rest, and also allowed the Bermuda to overtake the garden area. Our plans began to change as we looked towards selling our home and finding a larger piece of property to homestead on. We know for sure in the future we will use the Back to Eden garden method again, this time allowing the chips to sit for a while first before planting in it. Let's take a look really quick at what 3 years worth of wood chips on the ground looks like. As we peel back the layers of Bermuda, we have a rich soil bed now from the 6 inches of wood chips we had put down 3 years ago. The soil is no longer clumpy from the clay found in this area. It has plenty of matter, allowing aeration and smells like soil should.